Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, April 24th, and it seems like the solo adventure is just not coming this week. It might be tomorrow, but it might be next Tuesday, it might be the Thursday after tomorrow. It could be that this is not happening for another 3-4 weeks. I hate how inconsistent, well, how consistently imprecise Hearthstone is with these release dates. Why can they not just tell us a specific day to show up? It's so ridiculous. It's not really helping the player base or helping the game in any way. I guess maybe they think it is. It's just convincing people to log in every day and check. But most people are not doing that, almost certainly. For daily quests, we need to play warrior games and win a druid or hunter deck game on the Americas account. Ideally, since this is Wednesday, we would want to get all this done, and we also have a tavern brawl. I have just been trying to schedule things, and unfortunately, not making a huge amount of progress there. Rather long power outage happened, although that was mostly in the evening, so I was not super likely that I was going to do rescheduling anyways. It does seem like by the time I schedule everything, we will be into the Halloween month, and then it is a slight bit of question as far as what games and how many games I'm gonna play for. Pavel's Rogue can struggle against aggressive decks, but it packs a big punch. Interesting. I did not read the description of this tavern brawl, so we'll have to look at that and see what this is. It seems like banned from the finals. Tomorrow's Cube Warlock deck has some pre-nerf surprises in it. So these are just professional decks that the pro Hearthstone players in a tournament which played. So yeah, I don't know what to really take from this though. So unless it was gonna talk to us throughout every turn and tell us exactly what cards to play, that this really wouldn't help anything. I guess this might tell you who to choose in your choose your champion scenario, but I've already done the most recent choose your champion, so I don't think that would factor in either. Why is this only spell damage +1, battlecry, draw a card? Well, I guess maybe because I'm thinking of a different card. Yeah, I'm thinking of a different card, that's why.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Job done.
So yeah, scheduling is the worst, and it is really breaking down into like a week-long vacation because I put it off so long. A week-long unearned vacation.
Here we go.
Although I'm probably too critical of myself and would never actually claim that I deserve a vacation.
Who dares summon me?
There's definitely not enough Hearthstone cards at the not Hearthstone episodes at this point. Oddly, you would think that would never be a problem, but it actually has become a problem now where there's
this guy's toast.
we've been going for so long with the 3-hour episode long streams that I'm falling behind, or probably more accurately to say that my 30-minute streams to push me forward have pushed me forward enough to finally catch up. Now for Halloween, I think I'm going back to hour-long episodes in those series. I don't want to play extremely scary horror games and stretch that out into November or
I got the best deals anywhere.
or longer, because that's just asking a lot for people that don't like horror games. If we're just gonna do that, and frankly, you're always at the risk of playing too many horror games and video games anyways, because there's so many games where there's just zombies in it. So I really want Halloween to be the scariest of the scary games, the things that people that like those kind of things can really get a lot of that, and people that don't like those kinds of things can still, for the most part, find something to do.
The Brotherhood shall prevail.
There's the 12-12. Let's see. So we have probably nothing huge news-wise happening today, in all honesty. So we just kind of have the standard assortment of games. It seems like a lot of Switch games have been announced, and that's kind of it. We'll probably get into a Mortal Kombat rant since Mortal Kombat is out. I can state that I've seen it said, and I'm not sure if this is 100% accurate, that to buy everything in Mortal Kombat 11, you would have to spend $6,640 or thereabout. I might be a little bit off on the price, and you would have to have perfect luck because of the way the tower system works, and you would have to check the tower system every 6 to 8 hours, which is certainly asking a ridiculous amount. The monetization, the extra monetization, is unbalanced, and it doesn't seem like that there's any realistic path here. If you just want all the costumes and all the skins and all the items, there's a lot of consumable items and such for the tower system that just doesn't feel like that it should be there. Honestly, for the past 3 versions of Mortal Kombat, they have tried to add more and more monetization and less fun gameplay elements, and I think this is really just a continuation of this problem. I'm going through my Twitter feed, and just as I look, there's a whole bunch of new things, which is kind of ridiculous because I looked just an hour ago. So even when I do pre-arrange, so this was which legendary champions deck graced these halls. Hall of Champions was what that Tavern Brawl was, and I got lucky in one, which maybe that wasn't so much even luck. Now I have a complete collection on this, so unless it was a golden version, there's all 5 of those cards are gonna get disenchanted. I suppose classic goldens, there is an argument. Apparently I had some other cards. They're possibly is an argument to be said about keeping classic golden cards. I even have a decent amount of dust now, so it wouldn't be a terrible idea to go back at the end of this month and try and rebuild our decks again with the Hearthstone hsreplay.net. Alright, Druid or Hunter? Well, let's see, Hunter casual or Druid casual? Or just play ranked? Let's see. I just don't have enough time, frankly, to play an entire month just on Paladin, because I know Paladin is going to work, and then play casual on everything else. So, win or lose, I need to play ranked regardless, unless I just absolutely know I'm going to lose.
Rexar versus Malfurion.
There is something that is certainly
Let the hunt begin.
catching my mind now. Like, all the Hearthstone episodes that are going out are Hearthstones and video game news. There's no longer, and possibly for quite a while now, there's been no longer Hearthstone episodes that are pure Hearthstone. So there's a big shift, certainly. The first 1,000 episodes of Hearthstone were pure Hearthstone, or close to pure Hearthstone, I suspect. And now everything past the 1,000 is what I do now. That being said, let's be honest with the number of subscribers, with the number of viewers I get. I have never had anybody complain about their yeah, I haven't heard anybody complain about their I played that wrong. I should have played this guy, actually. Complain about Hearthstone just not being pure Hearthstone, or I haven't really had anybody watch too many Hearthstone episodes. It really is just a number scam. Like, it is the 10 o'clock news, which will just always occur, regardless of the fact that 10 o'clock news is on most local stations probably don't get great ratings compared to other things for how much they cost. Alright. Let's attack here. Do this. Do this. Do this.
Job's done.
In the turn. So yeah, I guess we should just try and cover the news. Like, I know every stream say I want to have a shorter experience, and in some instances, on rare occasions, that actually happens, but most occasions it doesn't. Mostly here, I'm going back to an hour timer, and I think what we're gonna do going forward is we may just always have a hard break when we swap to the second account. That way there's just always going to be 3 episodes. The 3 episodes might be of different lengths of time, but there will just always be 3 episodes. It seems like a natural breaking point. Of course, the more episodes I make, the more episodes I have to schedule, which sucks for me, but I guess that's just part of the job. Let's see. Good. So kill this one. Kill that one. Kill that one. And that one. So, Gamma Sutra has an article, Get a Job, Into the Breach Dev Subset Games is hiring a platform engineer. This is a remote location. This is the studio behind FTL and Into the Breach. They're looking for an experienced C++ programmer. Not super surprising, quite frankly, that they're looking for a programmer, because I wouldn't be surprised if they really didn't have enough staff at any point for the games that they've been making.
Job's done.
So yeah, that would probably be working with a smaller team. So you probably would need to be on top of your game if you want to see subset games increase. FTL in particular, probably not as much programming as just intentionally having to have, what am I trying to say? A lot of writing in FTL, certainly, like all the different scenarios that you go through, and there was quite a lot, would come down to writing, where the programming was pretty consistent. GameIndustry.biz has an article here, sagging Xbox hardware sales offset by software and services growth. Microsoft says gaming revenues were up 5% in the third quarter thanks to third-party games monetization and subscription growth, which I guess probably is also an indicator that the darn it. Yeah. So yeah, the Xbox One is getting a little long in the tooth, and the all digital edition is certainly not going to catch most people's attention. So Xbox 2, or whatever it is going to be called, I heard somebody jokingly call it the Xbox One 2, is probably getting announced at E3, and we'll start to see more hype from it. I wouldn't be super surprised if it doesn't get announced, though. And see, that just knocked me down, and that just feels really bad. So let's try Druid on casual. I don't feel like I have enough self-control to stick to playing ranked if you're gonna lose and lose a star. Yeah, the old digital edition kind of confuses the case, but what I assume will happen at E3 is the Xbox 2 will be shown off, specs will be mentioned. The PlayStation 5 has already thrown out some specs that arguably might be misleading specs in a way to try and push Microsoft to overproducing the Xbox 2 and over-promising on the Xbox 2. But Microsoft wants that powerhouse of power. They really did not like the messaging that came out that the PlayStation 4 was better than the Xbox One when they first came out, and so they're going to definitely work on that, I think. Let's see. Let's just do this. We have a game on Steam here called Captain Marlene, which looks like it's a low-effort 2D kind of hovering game, kind of like Flappy Bird. Best I can get. It's early access for $2.19 and not really worth considering. I'm probably gonna have a lot of these type of games today, so we'll try and burn through them as fast as possible.
Prove your worth, cur.
I could have just done that and killed it, actually. Next, we have a game on Steam called Deathroom, which is a dark screenshot horror asset flip game. It doesn't look like there's anything here that's particularly interesting. Frankly, I just don't think I'm ever gonna play these kind of games. This one is $2.69 discounted, and it's in a weird bundle of what don't look like very good games. Yeah. I feel like I'm gonna end up just having to have a standing decision that dark screenshot horror games, even if they are really, really good or look pretty good, don't matter. If you take a retrospective approach to this, when was there a horror, a dark game like that ever successful in the video game industry? I mean, sure, there might be a chance at some point that there is one that's really successful, but almost 100%, I would say, of all horror games so far have not brought about any interesting turn of events or interesting gameplay.
This be our neck of the
Job's done.
Yeah, I'm really trying to think about this, and like, if you think about like Condemned Criminal Origins, that's a horror game that's also kind of a shooter game, and that was a big AAA title. There's certainly Dead Space and things like that that have shooter elements on top of just wandering around a dark area with a flashlight. I think the fact that if a game has better gameplay elements changes the equation. So yeah, the defining factor very well may be that unless there is some shooting in it, a horror game where you wander around a dark area is not going to be good enough. On its own, and even if there is a shooting element, Alan Wake happened, and I didn't like Alan Wake 1, and that had the horror and shooting. Next, moving on, we have a game called Chopper to Hell, which is just a top-down twin-stick shooter game. It's $13.49 discounted, which is way too expensive, so nothing more needs to be said. I am in a kind of a weird point here also, because what happens a lot of times now that I'm scheduling things is you have the fall list cleanup that I wanted to do, and I could do that for November, but it means I would have to kind of live stream it now and then put those videos on yeah, I don't know how else you would do it. It's just I'd have to live stream it now and then either break up those videos and air them again around November or December, or I don't live stream it at all, and then I have pre-recorded videos showing off games that I may have already even purchased. I think that may just be the risk I have to take, is that I'll pre-record follow list cleanups, add games to the wish list, and if somebody sees one of those follow list cleanup videos and decides that they'd like to buy that game for me to support me, and I already own that game, I guess that they would just get stopped at that point. And so, yeah, that's probably how it's going to be. So, as soon as I'm done recording the Halloween recordings and getting that all set up, I think I'll just do a follow list clean up and do them with like 6 months in the past.
Rexar versus Thrall. For Doomhammer, let the hunt begin.
And I don't know if that would be really November or if that would be December, particularly, because, yeah, I don't know which one works better. Are you more busy in November or are you more busy in December? I'd say December. Next, we have a game on Steam that is probably the first instance I've seen on Steam in memory, at least, of blatant copyright infringement. So this is a game called Titan Attack the Game, which is stealing the concepts and the IP of Attack on Titan, and it's just an infinite runner game. So like, this is just garbage in early access for $4.99 in English only. Let's see. So yeah, this is, at the beginning you're having the anime Attack on Titan playing in the background with these terrible menus and stolen art pieces, and then it's just an infinite runner game. So the question then becomes, how do you flag a game like this? And I don't think Valve particularly cares for end users to flag games for much of anything, so it would be on Bandai, which owns Attack on Titan's IP, to find this and file a DMCA, which almost certainly they have done or are in the process of doing, or haven't found it yet. This publisher and developer should be removed completely from Steam from this, and I wouldn't be surprised if this publisher and developer name is just fake publisher and developer name, and that other games similar to this have been put on Steam. Although, frankly, as somebody who has been watching everything that comes out on Steam, this really is the first instance of just blatant copyright infringement. There are Attack on Titan games, at least one, it's not particularly great, on Steam from Bandai. I could be wrong about Bandai being the owner of the product, but I'm pretty sure.
To my side. Job's done.
Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Rune Lord. This looks like a fine match 3 game. Let's see, what could convince me that I would want to play a match 3 game though? You know, I think I've probably just had enough for a lifetime of match 3 games, unless it's doing something majorly different, and this doesn't look like it's doing anything differently enough. It's $5.59 discounted. There's a bundle of match 3 games. It looks like a fine game. It's just, I don't think I need to play any more of those. Particularly when there's a teaser trailer out now for Honey Pop. Yeah, Honey Pop is the name of the game. The teaser trailer came out, and that's something that to consider, and that Honey Pop 2 is close to being on the verge of coming out. So that would be the next match 3 game that I would probably want to play, and if I just play Honey Pop in its censored version that can then be easily uncensored, I think that's still fine content to put on YouTube, or at least that's why I'm pushing it. Like, there's been a insignificant amount of pushback to YouTube and their family-friendly draconian policies lately, or ever since they've started getting pushed for more and more in one direction. So that opens the door to a frustrating scenario for content creators like me, because more and more there's less and less I can show from video games, which are already a censored media, let's face it. Of course, my tiny little YouTube channel is not going to push the boundaries on YouTube. It needs to be a sustained, consistent complaint that is heard by YouTube. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Molly, Can You Survive 100 Nights? This looks like a low-effort asset flip shooter game that doesn't even seem to have textures half the time. This is $3 even, which is an odd price for a video game, but certainly not anything that would interest me. This, and then 1, 2, 3, and hit one there, and hit one there, I guess.
I hunt alone. Job done.
Turn. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Gensokyo Defenders. I thought this game already came out, but I guess this was just announced and now it's out. $13. It's this kind of tower defense, but kind of beat 'em up game that I think is already on the fall list. I'll put it on the fall list again. I'm not sure it really is something worth playing or not, but it looks different enough. It looks like Orcs Must Die if it was made by a Japanese company, frankly. It's being published by Sony Music Entertainment instead of Sony Interactive Entertainment, which is weird, certainly, in feeding into my thought, certainly, that Sony's Interactive Entertainment in particular is being abandoned in a very slow way, and that there will just be some like major restructuring that eventually happens there.
That's incredible.
There we go.
That's incredible.
And then let's get rid of these guys. There we go. So yeah, I'm not sure about Gensokyo Defenders. This is actually a good game, but I want to see some actual reviews first. Next we have a game on Steam that this looks really, really good. It's called Kid Baby Star Child. It looks like a Super Mario Brothers clone, Super Mario 64 clone. It's from an unknown developer and publisher. It just looks so good that it is amazing. I haven't heard of this before. Looks like a game that should have been given some advertisement and publishing deal. Exit Earth Entertainment. Okay, it says it's early access and requires a controller. It's $19.99. This clearly deserves to be on the follow list. This is the quality of games that I would like to see the follow list be full of, and the wish list in particular be full of. Now, what could be an issue here is that this game might only have like 5 levels in it right now in early access, and it may never have enough budget to finish the entirety of what you would expect is at least 3 times the 8 levels or 4 times 8, so at least 24 25 levels are to be expected, I'd say, in any game. And still lost, so we're bouncing back and forth. So of course that game is going on the follow list. Next we have a game on Steam called Save Your Nuts, which seems to be a squirrel game. It looks relatively okay, but I think it's a multiplayer only game. I think it's just a player versus player thing. It says it's single player for $11.99 early access. But if you say here, a multiplayer game, game something thinly disguised as a wacky force sport. Yeah. Yeah, that game is just too multiplayer focused. It looks like it might be fun for 5 minutes if you have friends over, but I don't think that there's a large number of replayable instances in it. Next we have a game on Steam called Artificial Mansion, which seems like vampires if they're sleeping in caskets. This looks like more of a Western animator trying to do the anime style. This is a visual novel, of course. Yeah, they seem to have some kind of magic. Or maybe they're robots, maybe not vampires. The other guy over here is not playing, not me. Usually when I hear the rope burning, that's because it's my fault. So this visual novel is $3.99 discounted. English only with no full audio. The graphics don't look amazingly great. And if we look at this developer, let's see. We have something that's not rated that doesn't look very well, something that's rated very positively. This is a furry monster girl story, though, that's rated positively. My Life as a Maiden is rated positive. With the Rose and Puzzle Wish is mixed. Yeah. So I guess it deserves a follow. There's enough credibility in this publisher to have done a little bit of to deserve at least a chance. Okay. Almost certainly he was trying to stall and see if I'd get upset and quit. As soon as he saw that I played, he got upset and quit. By the way, we now need to play warrior cards. This background looks new, which, okay, that's nice and all, but I don't know if that really is the kind of change that Hearthstone needs to keep it fresh. It's just changing the background art.
Garrosh versus Jane.
Let's see. Next, we have a game on Steam here called Necro Omni Store, which seems to be some weird looking. I think this is probably one of those do a job games or a point and click adventure. Maybe even a hidden object game. Let's see how this actually plays. Well, what this looks like is it's just terribly animated. It's not widescreen. And it's got these banners to make up for that. And then it looks like it's just half running a checkout cart at a grocery store and half doing a point-and-click adventure game. This is Necro Omni Store is $1.99 with no discount, and I just don't find this visually appealing. They would do a lot better if this had thick black outlines around everything, so things stood out a little bit more, but also having a background of red is not going to work very good. This kind of shows a misunderstanding of color palettes when you have background of red, a lot of foreground objects that are blue, and one main character that is solid green. That's so on the nose to animate things that way, and sure, that could be an art style, but probably isn't. Next, we have a game on Steam here called Backbone Prologue. Just to mention, here's somebody that at least better understands how the real world works as far as colors. You have a lot of browns and shades of different colors and a lot of variety. So yeah, and most people seem to not struggle that much with color palettes. So this looks like it says it's an RPG adventure. To me, it seems like it's probably more of a story-based experience.
What now?
Let's see. Draw a card. Yeah, so this game, Backbone Prologue, is just basically a demo of an upcoming noir-inspired adventure, point-click adventure, I'm sure, which is coming out in 2020. I see no reason to play a demo for a game that is not out yet. I get kind of the idea there, but you're trying to build a hype train for something that is at least 6 months off for something that is not a AAA game. That is just asking way too much. Let's see. Play that. Next, we have a game on Steam called Funny Bunny Adventures, which seems to be a kids puzzle path game of some sort. It kind of looks like a mobile game, though, frankly. And frankly, it feels like something that should be a mobile game, not on Steam. It's 20% off for $7.99, which is a little too expensive for what it's offering. Seems like it has multiple kinds of games you can play also.
What now?
Yeah, I don't see enough entertainment here, frankly. and that's probably true for a lot of kids games in general.
Somebody order a bomb.
Is that there probably is just something better. Compare that to a Mario Brothers game, Super Mario Brothers or something, and you're gonna have way more entertainment for that, or a Zelda game. It's not really video game news, but somebody built like a Zelda's Hyrule Castle in Minecraft. By the way, I also looked at the mod for, it seems like only one emulator can do this, where you can put new textures on Metroid, a visual improvement mod, basically. And yeah, it improves the graphics to look like the Super NES Zelda series, basically, or maybe even the DS Zelda series, Metroid series. I'm talking about a Metroid mod that improves the graphics of the original Metroid game. I may have been saying that whole sentence wrong before. I don't even remember what I was saying. The thing I think to take away from that, though, is it really isn't going to change much of anything else. So for your first playthrough, if you just absolutely hate the 8-bit appearance of NES games, maybe that makes sense, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think I would prefer just to play play the original game the way it originally worked. All the gameplay mechanics are going to stay exactly the same, so you're not going to have better targeting or new abilities or anything.
Have I got a bomb for you?
Let's see.
Job's done.
Okay. Next, we have a game on Steam here called Truth Disorder 3. Gemini, I'm gonna have to look to see if the 2 previous Truth Disorder games have been on Steam. This is a visual novel tagged with nudity and sexual content and anime, and yeah, it seems definitely like one of those dark, mentally disturbing visual novels. I assume this is a visual novel. Like, it definitely looks like it. This is $3.99, which is really cheap for a visual novel. That being said, if it is the 3rd in a series, then there is a chance that it may not be that long, or it may not be, or may not be that good. We can see here the publisher previously put out Truth Disorder, and it's at mixed results. And Truth Disorder 2 here only has 5 reviews, and it came out May 2nd, 2018. But also you could say Truth Disorder 2 is not tagged with sexual content and nudity, so it may very well be that this was censored, or there was just never any content to be censored in the first place. Yeah. Going down here, everything from this publisher that's been published is rated negatively. So this is not a quality product from the looks of it. So, because of that research, I now know that game is not worth playing. Whereas there was a chance that maybe there was a chance there that was going to be a good game. We don't want to get tricked into buying games just because they're tagged with nudity or sexual content. That's stupid and a waste of money.
Somebody order a bomb.
Job done.
Next we have Meaty McSkin Bones, which looks like it is a puzzle platformer of sorts where you can pull yourself out of your own body. So then there's like a muscle version, a skeleton bone version, a skin version, and some other version. And so you can have like full versions of yourself. This is early access, free to play, with no microtransactions. The concept seems a little ridiculous and silly. But I don't know what you would do here for actual monetization. Like, I guess it's a free game. It has 14 levels in it, and that's kind of that. This looks like it would be a mobile game. And since it's free, I guess I don't need to cover it. I'll just say Meaty McSkin Bones is out there, and if you want to play it, play it.
I can wait no longer. Taste my blade.
Artificial mention again? Don't tell me we're gonna start working our way backwards. See duplicate tabs.
I'm ready. I'm not
Let's see.
ready. I'm ready. I'm not ready.
Gamatsu has an article here. Enchanted in the Moonlight and the other Voltage Otome visual novels are coming to Switch. I need to look up what Otome means, because I think it means it's targeting females, but sometimes I think I mistranslate it to mean girl on girl books, and that seems like that's not 100% of the case. This instance, Enchanted in the Moonlight, is clearly 3 cat guys, or 2 cat guys and a regular guy. So more visual novels are coming to the Switch, which is nice to see. At least Nintendo's not censoring things, at least in a worldwide perspective. Here, let's just search Otome. It says a Otome game, Otome Gimu, literally main game, sometimes contradicted to Otogi, is a story-based video game that is targeted towards women. Generally, one of the goals, besides the main plot goal, is to develop a romantic relationship between the female player character and one of the several male characters. Okay. So, yeah, Otome means maiden games targeted towards girls. Doesn't have to mean anything else. So my understanding of that was probably flawed in some instances, and sometimes when I mention it. Moving on, Gamma Sutra has an article. Switch continues to dominate hardware sales in the United States. Nintendo Switch was the best-selling console in the US throughout March in terms of unit and dollar sales, and has been for the past quarter. I don't think there's probably any more information that needs to be said here. The Switch at the moment is enjoying all the sales. They will probably stop enjoying all the sales if a few things start happening, which is the PlayStation 5 comes out and the Xbox 2 comes out. Until those things happen, though, it does seem pretty obvious that that's how this whole thing is going to work. Gamma Sutra has an article here. Respawn CEO sticking to seasonal updates are better for Apex Legend devs. Okay. That's, I guess, probably a smart move compared to if you're not sticking to seasonal updates and you're just putting out random updates. That would be, I guess, the only other thing, the only other way you could do it. I suppose what you could take from saying seasonal updates, it could mean that they mean they're going to do 4 updates a year versus saying annual updates, which would only be once a year. Apex Legends being a hot game at the moment, and last I heard it was actually kind of dying, and that inherently this is the problem we've been seeing for years now, is that people get into PUBG, they're super hyped about it for 3 months at most, and then they move over to Fortnite. People get into Fortnite and they're hyped onto it for 6 months at the most, and then people that can afford to leave Fortnite and aren't just really young kids went over to Apex Legends. I wouldn't be surprised if this will always be the cycle going forward for what used to be the people that were playing Halo and the people that were playing Call of Duty and Battlefield, because directly in line with the rise of Battle Royale games and first-person shooter games that are free-to-play or close to free-to-play, is directly in line with that is the decline of the AAA first-person shooter, which really kills the sales of things like Battlefield and Halo. So when this new Halo comes out, that's gonna be weird. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft at least considers at some point having a free-to-play Battle Royale side story of Halo, just to get people into playing Halo. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot smaller audience playing Halo, the next Halo game, compared to its popularity in its heyday. But we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. After your hero attack, shuffle a bomb. Just bombing them. Just bombing like crazy. GameIndustry.biz has an article here. Persona 5 has sold over 2.7 million units worldwide. That seems like a large number, particularly for what would be a JRPG game that is a bit of a niche. It is unquestionably probably one of the top tier JRPG games. I don't think it beats Dragon Quest worldwide or Monster Hunter, but not Monster Hunter, but Dragon Hunter? No, I think it is called Monster Hunter. But yeah, so 2.7 million units is a big enough number to celebrate, certainly, and we see that here. And they announced that as they are pushing out the Royal Enhanced Edition, of Persona 5, which I think will have new content in it. Let me see if there's actually something here that says. It says it surpassed the 2 million mark in December of 2017, which means since the end of 2017, what has now been a year and a half, it's gotten another 700,000, which is a good number, but I bet they would have been a lot happier to be able to say that they had sold over 3 million, so that would have been a big round number. Tech Raptor has an article here. Kingdom Hearts 3 adds a critical mode with new difficulty and abilities. Although, in all fairness, I think if I was going to play Kingdom Hearts 3, the last thing I would want is an even more difficult mode where maximum HP and MP are halved, and other abilities are lowered. Like, that is the exact opposite of what I would want for Kingdom Hearts 3. What I would want is a super easy I would want to like a super easy story mode where you barely have to play at all, or don't have to play at all. For the Kingdom Hearts series, and I'm just going to continuously reference this mobile game I'm playing until I get bored of it, so apologies if people don't want to hear that. But this mobile game I'm trying out, Destiny Child, plays itself 100% if you just leave it going. But you eventually do run out of stamina. I would love if the Kingdom Hearts series came out and it's just like you can just sit there and let it play itself for all the battles and fights, and maybe do a little RPG skill point placement at the end of the battles, and that, but the actual button pressing and timing and all of that, if there was some mod that just made that all automated and scripted, I would be super happy. But still, even at that, Kingdom Hearts as a series would probably be way too long, and you still probably are better off just like looking up Kingdom Hearts 1 all cutscenes on YouTube, and then Kingdom Hearts 2 all cutscenes on YouTube, and Kingdom Hearts 3 all cutscenes on YouTube, and that'll get you the main story information, which hopefully would be enough, but very possibly isn't.
The Brotherhood shall come back.
Alright. Brawl. This. This. And this. I'm supposed to be playing warrior cards, so I should just play all these cards regardless. Next we have an article here from GameIndustry.biz. I don't know what this is. 996.icu accuses NetEase, Tencent, and Chinese devs of overworking staff. Now, on the face of it, the idea of NetEase, Tencent, and other Chinese developers overworking staff sounds very, very, very plausible. In fact, that's not even really a Chinese or Asian thing. That's just video game things in general. As far as just how much abuse of the employees happens. The subtitle here is Chinese tech workers use GitHub to highlight intensive overtime schedules. Microsoft employees petition to keep the list uncensored. Let's see. Reports of Chinese games and technology companies enforcing overtime on their staff, referred to as 996.icu, 6 rhymes with you in Mandarin. The movement aims to expose company adopting an unofficial work schedule of 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., which would be 12 hours, just in case anybody needs that math done, which overtime can risk health employees and may send them to an intensive care unit. I certainly worked a job that did all kinds of shenanigans to overwork their employees and just ruin their lives and break their spirits, basically. So I don't so I can certainly somewhat relate to this idea. The website details all the articles of Chinese law that this breaks. For example, a 996 schedule equates to at least 60 hours per week, but Article 36 of the labor law in the People's Republic of China says workers should work no more than 44 hours per week. The law also states that following the 996 work schedule deserve 2.275 times their regular pay, but employees are rarely paid extra for their overtime, according to the site. There's also a GitHub repository that Chinese tech workers have been using as a central destination to share evidence of the company's intensive working conditions. So, yeah, this is kind of tangentially video game related, but it certainly is a problem. It is a known problem in many scenarios and many industries. And part of the thing about China's industrial revolution that they're allegedly having, and they say they're having, is the fact that right now a lot of China's economy is based on employees, but they're really moving towards automation so fast that very quickly there will be not enough jobs for the number of people. And there was a case of that. The company that assembles the cell phones, I forgot the name of it. It's not Tencent, it's well, yeah, I can't remember the name of the company in China that assembles most of the iPhone parts. They were talking about firing eventually 90% of their staff, and they employ a significantly large amount of people as they move towards automation and just processes to develop and assemble cell phones that don't really require people. And the thing is that there's not even I should just play cards here and not goof around. Chinese employment, Chinese labor is not even the cheapest anymore. It's like, it's now moving into India, and I wouldn't be surprised if it eventually moves further east and maybe even into Africa. And there's I think going to be a consistent changing of the guard as more and more countries, if they can just stabilize enough to not have a military coup every decade or so, will still be impoverished enough that labor will be extremely cheap, but stable enough that people will actually want to bring jobs to that area. Arguably, that is also a article from GameIndustry.biz that's more a bit. It is a social justice article in the classic sense of social justice. It really is an article focusing on trying to do something that is helpful to society in general. But there really is no reason not to talk about that either if your website's called GameIndustry.biz, and this does include a couple of companies, big companies. Tencent's the biggest video game company as far as we can tell. So they did manage to take what is more of a general worldwide public knowledge article and specialize the title and put their spin on it to make it more video game related. Let's see, moving on, we have a Gematsu article. Here's Starlink Battle for Atlas is coming to PC alongside the Crimson Moon update in the Switch exclusive Star Fox DLC on April 30th. Now, Starlink was the Toys to Life game that came out that they've since abandoned the Toys to Life part of this. So now it's just a general game. You never really needed the toys, and certainly I don't think the toys would ever work with the PC version. That being said, there's not been a huge response for Starlink in general. So I don't see a way that this could be too exciting. It is still just going to be a mediocre game, I suspect, at best, and focused at a younger audience. Let's see. Next, Gematsu has an article here. We have a lot of Gematsu articles. It seems like maybe more came out of SakuraCon, or there's another con or another event. Romance visual novel Making Lovers is coming to the PS4, PS Vita on July 25th in Japan. So another Vita game. Limited Run, I know there's an article here, is going to announce its last few Vita games that are going to release, and then I imagine we probably are just going to have a year of just like a year from now of Vita games here and there coming out, and then we'll probably see the last Vita games, or a insignificantly small number of niche Vita games coming out. Alright. So if I play this, and then play this again, and then play this again, and then play... Well, I guess there's no reason to do that. Let's just play that again.
Job's done.
Did I just play 5 Warlock cards, or did I just play 1? Question. I don't know. Gamasutra has an article here. Supercell partners with Internet Matters to improve child safety online. So this is Clash of Clans and Clash Royale. It's probably not a bad idea. I can say that there recently haven't seen a lot of spam messages in my clan for Clash Royale, but there's probably still far too many people with offensive names and people that pop up and say offensive things. So yeah, there's something to be said there. Also, I would say having never actually purchased anything from Clash Royale, there's a lot of buttons all over the screen where you can buy things with real world money. They could do a better job there. But the main issue is the clan wars, at least for my clan, are just getting worse and worse. Less and less people want to play the clan wars at all. point I am at is kind of this grindy point where I'm just trying to get enough gold to upgrade everything. I have every card unlocked, and almost every card I think is at least at level 11, or could be turned into, if I had gold, they could be turned into a level 11 of 13. So I wish they'd just make Clash Royale a little bit more fun to play and a little bit faster to play each game. It is a lot like Hearthstone in the sense that it's just kind of causing a lot of gameplay for no reason. And as I'm moving on to trying other games or trying to find more time to do other things, it's hard to find the extra time to do the I would say you have to do at least 4 games to get the 4 treasure chests every day. You'd have to win 4 games, which generally speaking is closer to 12 games. And for me, I wouldn't be surprised if it's closer to 15 games per day of Clash Royale minimum, because you also have to do the clan war thing, and I run a clan war non-stop to try to get more gold so that I can afford other things. And then it's hard to run a clan when some of your top tier clan members have unlocked everything, so they can't really donate or request cards anymore. And so that's part of the problem too. Like, a lot of people who have been playing it since day one or at this in-game level. Anyways, we are done with the Americas account. This is the perfect time to break up this recording. So, gonna have 3 recordings going forward, I think. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and give me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.